Hello, welcome to Michelle Sews Again. I'm Michelle. Today I'm going to share with you another indie pattern release video. So if you like indie patterns, then this is the one for you. I am going to do it in the same format that I did it a couple of weeks ago, where I'm just showing you the model photos, the line drawings where possible, and talking a little bit about it and then jumping on to the next one. I do have 21 patterns here to share with you today. So I'm not gonna get into sizing. I'm not gonna get into whether it's PDF only. If you see a pattern that you think is interesting to you, I'm gonna have every single link in the description box below, so you can go click on the link and find out all the extra information. It'll be right there for you. All right, so the first pattern that I want to share with you is the Joni Dress and Blouse from Pattern Scout Patterns. This is a peasant style blouse. It's got a square neckline. It's got shirring on the front and the back. There is a blouse version and a dress version. On the blouse version, there is shirring around all the way around, right under the bust, and then again a few inches down kind of at the waist, and then there's fabric that kind of not peplums out from there, but kind of skirts out from there, I guess. And there are two different sleeve options. There's one little cap sleeve and a long sleeve that has shirring at the wrist. The second version is the dress, and for the dress version, there's just shirring right under the bust, so it's like an empire waist, and then the back is fully shirred. Not anything I haven't seen before, but it's very pretty. I have not sewn anything with Pattern Scout patterns, so I have no idea of their drafting or their instructions, but it's a very pretty dress. Not something I would wear. It wouldn't suit my body type, but if this is your style, then it's very pretty. The second pattern that I'd like to share with you is from a company called Puff and Pencil. I think that this company is really interesting because they let you mix and match pattern components. So you've got a bodice, you've got different sleeves, you've got different necklines and collars and skirts and things like that. And you can mix and match and kind of customize a pattern. I think that's really interesting. I encourage you to go check it out and see if that's something that might be for you. I have not bought anything from them yet, but it's definitely something that I think is intriguing. They have a new sleeve pattern that they're calling the kite pattern. And it's just it's a long sleeve. It's kind of like a balloon sleeve, and then it has a seam kind of right here that kind of brings it back in. And you can mix and match that with any of their vest pattern pieces. The next two patterns that I have for you are both from Sew Over It. The first is the Imogen knit PJs, just your basic knit PJs. There's two different top versions. One is a Henley, one has like a strip across the top that you could color block or pattern mix or whatever, and then just your basic elastic waist pull-on knit pants that I believe they're knit, or they're cuffed at the ankle. So yeah, nothing exciting or new there, but if you don't already have a pattern like this could be one that's good for you, especially if you already know the Sew Over It block works for you. The second pattern from Sew Over It is the Margot Dress. I'll be honest, I'm not excited about this one. It's a raglan sleeve dress. It's like super basic. There's nothing really very interesting about it. There are two different sleeves. There's a bell sleeve and just a straight sleeve. They're both long. It's got darts in the back. It's got French darts in the front. The skirt's kind of, I think, A-line. So, you know, just it's pretty basic. The next pattern that I have for you is from Bella Loves Patterns, and it is the Grace. The Grace coat is a classic mid-calf double-breasted coat. It says double-breasted. There's no buttons, but it does like crossover double-breasted. It's got a self-tie, and it's a beautiful coat. It's just a classic traditional coat. There's nothing unique or different about it. It does have dolman sleeves, and it's got a nice little collar. If you are in need of a coat pattern, this could be a beautiful one for you. The model version looks beautifully made. The one thing that is interesting about this pattern is that there are two different versions for height. One is drafted for a 5'3" person, 5'1" here. One is drafted for a 5'7" person. So you've got different length options there, which I always appreciate. I have two patterns to share with you from Wardrobe by Me. The first one is a unisex painter jacket. So this jacket is a slightly oversized, just boxy kind of utility jacket. It's got oversized pockets. It's got a breast pocket and two patch pockets at the near the hem. It's got a slightly dropped shoulder and it's unlined. It's a great basic jacket. There's lots of them out there. Again, nothing super unique about this one, but if you like Wardrobe by Me patterns, then this could be a good one for you. The other one from Wardrobe by Me is a pair of cocoon pants. These are trousers. They've got a button fly and a button. They are pleated on the front, and if you've watched any of Mari from Mari Sews pattern release videos recently, yesterday she announced that pleated pants are back in fashion. So there's that. It's got a contoured waistband, two deep pleats at the front, deep side seam pockets, that's always a plus, back welt pockets, full legs that taper at the hem. As I've mentioned before, I don't make pants. It's not something I'm really interested in, so I'll pass on this, but they look like a nice pair of pants. The next pattern that I have to share with you is from one of my new favorite designers, sewing. Her name is Caroline, and her pattern company is Sewing in the City. And this is the Minetta top and dress. This again, super cute, not one that it wouldn't suit my body style, but it's really interesting. It's a shirt with like a skirt at the bottom, kind of at the empire point. So that part's not necessarily new, but what's interesting is there's almost like a bralette kind of sewn in and top stitched on the front. So I think that's an interesting detail. For a fuller busted person like me, I don't think it's gonna necessarily be all that flattering. Maybe, I could be completely wrong, but I'm not gonna try it. But I think the top is really interesting and really beautiful. It also comes in a dress version, which is adorable. I love the way that she's got it styled here. So if this would suit your body style, I would say jump on it because I think it's adorable. There is a new Henley top and dress called the Hawthorne from Rivet Patterns. The thing I don't love about this is the top is a separate pattern from the dress. I feel like that's a little, I don't like that. I feel like if it's the same pattern, but it's just a different detail, they should be one pattern. They do give you a discount if you buy them both. They have a bundle, but I kind of feel like that's a little sketchy. I think it should be all in one pattern, but that's just me. But it's just a basic Henley, and then the dress has just a little ruffle skirt at the bottom. So it's cute, nothing to write home about, but yeah, if you need a Henley pattern, then this could be good for you. This next one is from the Sewing Revival, which one of my all-time favorite patterns is from the Sewing Revival. If you don't know this about me, the Bellbird top from the Sewing Revival is one of my all-time favorite patterns. I've made 8 versions between dresses and tops. So I do like the company. That is the only pattern I've made from them, to be fair. And I did have to make alterations to make it fit me, but I love it. This is an interesting pattern. It's called the Flow Dress. Looks like a beautiful summer dress. It's a maxi dress. It's got a tie at the neck, and then it's got like almost like it's not a halter style, but the sleeves come from the neck. There's no sleeves. The armholes come from here down. So it's not a tank style. It comes from the neck, and then it just flows, which is why it's called the Flow Dress. It'll be interesting to see how much fabric this thing takes, but it looks like a beautiful summer dress. And it also comes in a top length. The next pattern is from a company called the Patterns Room. I'm not really familiar with them. but this is called the Scylla skirt, and it's truly as basic as you can get, just a straight elastic waist knit skirt. If you have need of that, I mean, it's only €9. I don't know what that translates into US dollars, probably $10 and change. But yeah, nice basic knit skirt. Again, I don't wear skirts, I won't be making it, but great basic for your wardrobe. The next pattern that I have for you is from Sandstone Patterns. It's a dress pattern. It's called the Caroline dress. And this is interesting. It's got raglan sleeves. It's got a band that goes around the neckline, then down the front and around the waist. And that front piece is open a little bit. And it looks like that waistband is maybe a dropped waist. It doesn't look like it sits at her natural waist. So that's interesting. I don't think I'll pick it up, but I think it could be pretty. The next pattern that I have for you is from Juliana Martesh. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it's the cargo skirt sewing pattern. It is, it's kind of interesting looking. It's got a drawstring at the waist, but a really thin like channel for the drawstring. Obviously cargo pockets, and I don't know if those are welt pockets on the back or not. Seams, 2 seams down the front on each, like kind of over top of each leg, 2 seams on the back, kind of over top of each leg. I don't know, tell me what you think about this one. Next, we've got the Itch to Stitch Margarella top and blouse and dress. This one has been kind of over YouTube recently because it's a new release and there's a lot of Itch to Stitch ambassadors. So you will have seen it from Karina probably and Whitney. They both do a lot of Itch to Stitch things. This looks like an interesting blouse. It's got 2 different neck versions. Well, they both have the mandarin collar. One just adds a ruffle. It's a raglan sleeve, and then you can make it in top length or dress length. I think I wouldn't wear it completely buttoned all the way to the top, but I do like that version with the ruffle across the top. I think wearing it a little bit open and in like a dressier fabric, that could be a really gorgeous blouse. So this one is a maybe for me. Okay, this next pattern is from In the Folds. This is part of their Curated by In the Folds subscription service. So you can only get this pattern if you're in that service. It's a dress, it's called the Elwood dress. It's got a very full skirt with 2 seams down the front, like again over each leg, 2 down the back, again over each leg, which kind of lets it have that fullness. There's a sleeved version and a sleeveless version. It's got a V-neck and it's got really interesting seam details on the back, which I think is nice. Makes it a little bit more interesting than just a basic A-line full dress, in my opinion. This next one is from a company called How to Do Fashion. She is an independent, obviously they're all independent, pattern designer. And her pattern designs are all very vintage inspired. So this is number 29 Milano Dress. It's very 40s inspired, in my opinion. I could be off on the decade, but it's got kind of a shawl collar. It's got one of those like seam lines like this under the bust line where it's like right here, but then comes down. Very gathered right there. Full sleeves that gather in a cuff at the wrist. It buttons all the way down. And then the pockets are really interesting. They've got kind of like a pleated or pinched almost detail there, which I think is interesting. And you can also make this as a blouse. Have you ever sewn anything from her? I'd be interested to know. So then we come to Cashmerette. Their new releases, at least the last 2 that I've seen, have been part of their monthly club service. So you've got to be a member of the club to have access to these patterns, but you can see what they are. And this one is really interesting. It's a dress sloper. It's called the Milano Dress Sloper. And it's basically going to teach you how to make a sloper that fits your body exactly, that you can then use for drafting other patterns or making adjustments to other patterns. So I think this one's interesting. I'm curious about it because the Cashmerette block does not fit me very well, at least not the way I like my clothes to fit, let me put it that way. But this is going to be tailored to my body. So I don't know, this might have me thinking about joining the club. I don't know, are you curious about this? Let me know in the comments. Okay, this next pattern is from the Closet Core Crew membership. So again, you gotta be a member of the crew to have access to this pattern. It's the Sandstone Jacket. There are two versions. One has just a straight hem, one has a drawstring hem, and you can put the pockets on either version. But it's just like a bomber style jacket. It's unlined, it's got a funnel collar, it's short. Yeah, just a basic transitional style jacket. The next pattern is from Seamwork, and it's the Dara Blouse. And it's just a peasant style blouse with like the, you know, the gathered neckline, raglan sleeves. There are two versions. One has lace insets down the front and the back, and then the other one has no insets. And it's a nice basic peasant style top. Cute. The next pattern is from Rivet Patterns, and it is the Ofilia Dress. It's a really cute summer dress. It's a tank style, straight across the top with two straps, buttons all the way down the front. It's straight, probably has slits on the side, I'm not sure. Inseam pockets, really cute. What I have found with Rivet Patterns for me is that they're not all that size inclusive. This pattern wouldn't fit me, which bums me out because I do like their style. I would probably buy a lot of their patterns if they were a little bit more size inclusive. This next style is really interesting. It's the Silvia Jacket from Liberated. It's got a shawl collar. It comes in two lengths. It's a short length and a longer length. It's just a basic, it almost looks like, I think in the UK they call it a granddad cardigan. So it's got that granddad cardigan look, but it's made out of woven fabrics. What's really interesting about this though, because if that was the only thing, then it'd be nice, but it wouldn't be anything unique or, you know, very different. But they have a bunch of pocket variations that you can mix and match and add on top of each other. There are 12 different pocket pattern options for this jacket, which I think is super cool. Let me know what you think about it. So that's all the patterns that I have to share with you today. If you know of any new indie pattern releases that I haven't mentioned, please drop them in the comment box for everybody to see. I would love to know if you are interested in any of these patterns. If so, which ones? And have you made any of them yet? I love people who jump on these early releases or these releases and get them made fast, because I like to see how they look on different body shapes. I will have included the hashtag for all of these patterns as I was talking about them. So if you have Instagram, then go and check them out on Instagram. See how they look on different body shapes and see if that makes them more interesting to you than just the models and the line drawings. If you liked this video, then check this one out of the indie patterns that I shared a couple of weeks ago. I think you'll find them interesting. That's all I got for you today. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.